Vegemite on toast, highly minnow, having a snack on a barbecue, or sunbathing on one of its many scenic beaches is what Australia is known for. It is also home to one of the most iconic, breathtaking beauties of the world, the Great Barrier Reef. The reef is the largest living structure on Earth which can be seen from space, and is one of the 7 wonders of the world. The reef is located in the Coral Sea and stretches 3,000 kilometres along the northeastern coast of Queensland, with 900 islands sprawling over 344,400 square kilometres. This natural treasure boasts the planet's largest coral reef system, with 3,000 reefs, 400 types of coral, 1,500 tropical fish species, 134 shark and ray species, 200 bird and 20 reptile species, and with sea turtles and clams over 120 years old, it is no wonder how this majestic reef is an extraordinary example of natural creation and lures in tourists from all over the world, turning in an average of 1.82 million visitors per year. This tourist attraction draws travellers to more than 100 ways to experience the reef, such as beef, fly, game, and deep sea fishing, kayaking, sailing, skydiving, snorkeling, windsurfing, swimming with sharks, whales and fish, birdwatching, canoeing, scuba diving, or just plain sunbathing on the beach coast. So why is it under threat? One of the natural threats to its reef is its own ecosystem. If one organism or species is affected or declines in number, it has a domino effect across the whole reef's food chain. Another threat includes coral bleaching. Coral bleaching results from high water temperatures. Corals thrive in clear and shallow water and require sunlight, and are known for their bright colours, which are due to the algae that dwell within them. This algae is killed off with high temperatures and increased exposure to the sun's harmful UV rays, resulting in the bleached appearance and loss of colour. Bleaching is the coral stress mechanism, where the colourful algae in the coral cells become toxic and are expelled, turning the animal host cells white. This loss of colour and algae death then results in the death of creatures that rely on the corals as its primary food source. The crown of thorn starfish is another high risk as it feasts on the coral polyps, thus releasing neurotoxin to absorb the coral tissue, sucking the life out of a reef's backbone. If an adequate amount of starfish are grouped together, it can result in an outbreak with disastrous effects that can derail predators within the area. Climate change and high water temperatures are one of the main issues of the decline of the reef. As previously mentioned, the high temperatures could lead to coral bleaching and the complete dissolution of the reef by the year 2030. A slight temperature rise of 2 to 3 degrees could put 97% of the reef in danger zone. The increasing level of atmospheric greenhouse gases, particularly carbon dioxide, also causes issues, which, if it rises to a level of 450 ppm, can put coral and reef habitats in an extremely vulnerable position. Although these threats to the Great Barrier Reef are naturally occurring, there has been an increase of human threats aiding to the deterioration of this coastal landmark. Overfishing generates over $1 billion to the Australian economy. The Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority has made the majority of areas off-limits to fishing, with an emphasis on reef sustainability. Oil spills from oil container ships have a detrimental effect on the reef's habitat and marine life. The most recent accident occurred in 2010, with the longest scar to ever damage the reef, spanning 3 kilometres in length from the Chinese carrier Shen-Neng-1. The destructive scars has led to destroyed areas that can no longer house marine life and could take up 20 years to recover. This had led to the increase of fines from damage resulting from shipping containers. Since 1987, a total of 283 oil spill incidents have occurred in the Great Barrier Reef. One of the current disconcerting issues the United Nations has put the Great Barrier Reef in danger, with authorities approving plans to dump 3 million cubic metres of dredge spoil into the waters of a already vulnerable reef as part of the expansion of the Abbott Poil coal dumping terminal at Wolanski in North Queensland. The Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority stated that approval should not be arranged for dredge soil waste to be dumped to the reef, as it has a possibility to cause long-term irreversible damage, particularly coral reefs and seagrass meadows, and had presented this table to then Environment Minister Tony Burke and demonstrated the option of the dumping of the dredge soils in the Great Barrier Reef as the most risky and least favourable choice. The permit had also suggested other alternatives that could pose a lower risk to the reef, such as extending the jetty or disposing the soil on land. The current Minister for the Environment, Greg Hunt, was advised that the offshore disposal was the best available option and approved the offshore dredging location expansion of the port. To hinder backlash, he imposed 47 strict conditions of the dredging, limiting it to 1.3 million cubic metres of sediment a year during a small window nominated by environment scientists, and demand a 150% benefit requirement for water quality. However, the chairman of the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority, Russell Wright, approved the dumpings late last year, as the approved disposable area consists of sand, silt and clay, and does not contain coral reefs or seagrass beds. However, the Queensland campaigner for Greenpeace, Louise Matheson, has stated although the immediate disposable area has no seagrass, the soil sediments can still spread up to about 80 kilometres and still possess a high risk to the water quality. In the dredging permit assessment, the authority states that the seagrass located in the area to be dredged have a high possibility to be affected by the increased water sedimentation and reduced light, in addition to turbid plumes and sedimentation affecting coral reefs surrounding Holland Island, Nares Rock, Camp Reef, Horseshoe Bay and Cape Upstart. The application was delayed twice last year before the federal election but was approved by Hunt. The conditions include a requirement for North Queensland bulk ports to offset the amount of fine sediments released into the environment by 150%, with the dredge disposal discontinuing if weather conditions, windier currents and or waves displace the sediment. The authority also requires a 5-year water quality monitoring program. Minister Hunt has recently ordered an inquiry into dredging in Gladstone, where a containment dam leaked and dredge spoil was discharged back into the harbour. Some of it is associated with the deaths of fish and other marine lives. Without knowing the full impacts of dredging in Gladstone, why was he allowing the Abbott Point dumping? Other industries operating alongside the reef, including farming, fishing and tourism, are adopting more sustainable practices. So why as a nation are we hindering these effects by dumping dredge soil straight into our already tainted reef? Polls show 91% of Australians think protecting the reef is important, and 3/4 of Queenslanders want to ban on dumping the dredge waste in the reef's waters. If the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority had considered it a potential risk to one of the world's 7 wonders, why should we do it? When you ask an individual where would they love to visit if they were to travel Australia, one of their choices would be snorkel and swim amongst the fish and see the beautiful bright corals of the Great Barrier Reef. With the reef's numerous threats, naturally occurring and man-made destructions, why as a nation should we consider obliteration of our beautiful reef? Our great 7 wonder of the world is deteriorating. Why should we as humans continue to damage something so beautiful in our backyard?